Well, a warm welcome everybody back to Spa-Francorchamps. We are here for the GT Cup Europe Round 3 here at Belgium, and I must say we're in for a hell of a treat. 50 minutes of racing action with driver changes open from the 21st minute to the 29th. 19 turns, 9 to the right, 10 to the left, 7.004 kilometres, and that works out to 4.352 miles. A clockwise circuit that I am sure, deliver a fantastic race. All the cars now lining up onto the grid as we get set to go racing here for the first time this weekend. And we witnessed a fabulous qualifying session where Luca Ludwig would go to pole position in the Ferrari. But it's a Ferrari-Porsche situation with Federico Al Rifai, the Saudi F4 champion, despite trying to push Luca Ludwig all the way, just could not quite pull it off. Nicolo Schiro going close in third. Of course, stepping in for Andrea Bellici for Team Rosso Corsa Ferrari. Alex Ryman coming in at fourth fastest as well, also driving the Porsche. But your commentators here, George Morgan, also joining me once again. It's Ewan Dunlop. And Ewan, can't wait for this one.
Yeah, fantastic. Qualifying was maybe as expected. The top two in the championship taking the top two spots. I mean, sort of so far this year, Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig in that car number 80, just brilliant performances. They've taken 4 races. They've had every single step of the podium and a top 5 finish as well, with a first, second and third. They are on form. They won the second race at Hockenheim I mean, the car was so good, that second race of the weekend just 2 weekends ago. And of course, Federico Al Rifai and Matteo Lovisi, their closest competitor, just 4 points behind. And they, as two pairs of drivers, are 9 points ahead of the rest of the field. Dieter Sveps and Leandro Martins, they are third in the overall championship, but are first place in the AM championship with 3 race wins in the AM out of 4, and it could have been 4, but they didn't actually finish race number 2 in Portimao in the opening weekend of the championship, so they lead that by 8 points. So the guys at the top in the championship have been on top so far this weekend in Spa.
You certainly have, and we just caught sight of Fernando Navarrete as well, who, like I said in qualifying, was preaching that he had no power in the car. Has, though, since qualified, the fastest AM driver in qualifying, and on top of that, seems to be doing well in the Ferrari nonetheless. It might be the case that they've solved the issue. We'll have to wait and see. There's Philip Wills as well, starting in 7th place for Felipe Wills. He is also going to be coming in and exchanging. Well, in fact, he's not exchanging. He's riding solo this weekend, so he's going to be doing the whole term, much like Alex Ryman does as well. But as we now pan and take this picturesque view across this grid order from start to finish, what a lovely shot that is as well. We've got a mixture of Ferrari and Porsche machinery here at Spa-Francorchamps, and we're going to be in for a real treat when racing gets underway. But Luca Ludwig, you get this sense with he and Ivan Velasco, a formidable partnership through the course of this. But you've got to watch out for Federico Al Rifai, Saudi F4. Well, we'll get into that in a moment. First of all, highlights from Hockenheim Ring, and it has to be said, a wonderful start indeed from Luca Ludwig and, of course, his teammate Ivan Velasco. We saw 2 Porsches banging wheels, though, however, as it would be, of course, Evgeny Leonov trying to get in nice and close as well. Big spin further back as well for the Fernando Navarrete, not the Fernando Navarrete car, I do apologise, the Alba Vasquez Redondo car. But coming across the line in great fashion, it was a victory, of course, for Federico Al Rifai. Coming in towards turn 1 for our second race, and he had a big moment there where car number 53 would barrel off onto the grass. Lars Zanen unfortunately getting unstuck on that occasion. And then further up the order, Nicolo Schiro, well, which would be Andrea Bellici taking the wheel of the Rosso Corsa Ferrari, coming into contact with the 79, and that would be Johannes Zelger, who would go off into the gravel trap. It would be the turn, though, of Luca Ludwig and Ivan Velasco, victors once again as they took the checkered flag for Ferrari at Hockenheim, and now once again further their grip onto the championship standings. And this is how those standings look now after Hockenheim, and Ivan Velasco with 42 points with Luca Ludwig, and Federico Al Rifai and Matteo Lovisi sitting in second, only 4 points behind Velasco and Ludwig in that battle for the championship. A very thin margin. Dieter Schweppes and Leandro Martins also not far away. So as we now reach race time, it's now to take a look at the starting grid. On pole position, it is going to be Luka Ludwig with Federico Al-Rifai alongside him. The two championship contenders on the front row. Third place, Nicolo Schiro, Alex Ryman on the second row of the grid. And then further back in fifth, we have Fernando Navarrete Rodrigo with Jorge Cabezas making it all Ferrari, fifth and sixth. Seventh and eighth, it's Felipe Vils with Lars Zanen in eighth spot. Further on, we then have Nicholas Salins and Evgeny Leonov in the Volcano Porsche. In 11th place, Laurent van der Velde, the AM champion of last season, with Bogdan Duma, the young upstart, looking to move in from rallying and has done so brilliantly. Davide Scanicchio in 13th, with Florentin Sescu from Romania in 14th place. Then further on, it's Leandro Martins in 15th, with Johannes Zelger in 16th place. In 17th position, it's Mark Speaker-Vos with Alba Vazquez Redondo coming back in 18th. 19th place for Glauco Solieri, Stefano Bozzoni starting in 20th spot. So as the cars make their way around on the formation lap, of course, here, just to get the tyres up to temperature, as I said before, we got to talk about the complexion. You've got two experienced drivers in Luka Ludwig and Ivan Velasco, but you have also some young blood with Federico Al-Rifai. Despite being a Saudi F4 driver, has taken to Porsches brilliantly. Obviously, that goes to show in this qualifying session, as well as what they've done in both Portimao and Hockenheimring. But he's also got an ace up his sleeve, has he not, here? You know, Levisi. Let's talk about Levisi, because at this stint, when Federico Al-Rifai's stint comes to an end, Matteo Levisi is going to take the wheel, and he is a GT Cup, an Italian GT AM champion from last year. So he's got experience in these cars.
And he's not been racing long either. He's got up to grips with these cars very, very quickly. For the neutral viewer, I hope this isn't just a race between the top two, because if these two get away, they're so good. They're leading the championship, both these cars, by over 11 points over the rest of the field. We want it to be competitive, but these guys, the four drivers and the two cars, have been pretty phenomenal. They've taken all the wins between them so far. But let's hope a few more get involved. Dieter Schweppes and Leandro Martins in the 911 didn't qualify fantastically well down in 15th place, but they are third in the championship right now. They did take the first win of the season at Portimao. It's been a bit of a struggle since then, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Luka Ludwig will be hoping to get off to the great and grandest start possible. I mean, at the end of the day, 15 points go towards the winner. That's exactly what they have their eyes set on right now. 12 points for second place. Third place grants you 10. And in the AM class, 8 points for the winner, 6 points for second, 4 points for third. But as we now get ourselves set, they're coming through towards the final sector right now, the closing stages of this formation lap. Zander Prispalak and Lars Zanen. Of course, in this initial stint, Lars Zanen will be at the helm of the Q1 Track Racing 53. Lars Zanen, a BMW M2 Cup Benelux GT4 Europe 2023 is what he's raced in. Belcar Endurance in TA class, and he's a champion in that field as well back in 2022. So across this field of GT Cup machinery that we have in front of us here, we have got drivers that are more than capable of achieving great results. And we were talking about Felipe Vils and Steens Longin, you know, with guys that can win the Porsche Sprint Challenge and the Porsche Sprint Cup Benelux, being a race winner in the TCE series in 24 hour as well. And then on top of that, having a NASCAR Valen Euro Championship in your hands, it certainly is no mean feat. Predictions, Ewan?
I've got to stick with Velasco and Ludwig. I think I just saw them in Hockenheim and they were so good. The car was just absolutely on fire. They've stuck it on pole today and they're going to go over the line with a rolling start. George, take us through the first few corners.
Well, they're coming through bus stop now. It's Ludwig on the left, on the right. Federico Al-Rifai as now the lights go green and it's pedal to the metal. And it is go. And losing out is Federico Al-Rifai, because in comes now, straight away from the get-go, the Rosso Corsa of Nicolo Schiro. He takes second place. Al-Rifai loses again, because through goes as well Alex Ryman up into third place. The EST1 Racing Porsche now in the top three. Al-Rifai losing place hand over fist as they make the climb up through towards Eau Rouge and Rayon. Al-Rifai though coming alive as they make their way over the crest. Many cars running wheel to wheel, nose to tail, a nice clean run. But look at Al-Rifai. He's now on the attack in that battle for third place. He's going to try and challenge Alex Ryman for that spot now as well. The two Porsches coming nose to tail as they now sprint up through towards Les Combes. It is still going to be Alex Ryman who holds position. Ludwig still leads.
Don't forget, there's only 6 rounds in this championship. The end of Spa tomorrow will take us to halfway, so points are absolutely crucial. The one thing Al Rafai could not afford to do on the first corner is drop places, because that could eventually mean drop points. What a start to our first GT Cup Open race of the championship.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's all Ferrari up at the very front, because Luca Ludwig leads. Nicolo Schiro stepping in for Andrea Bellici will eventually be handing over to, of course, his teammate later on. Of course, Rosso Corsa have impressed since coming in, so Lorenzo Innocenti will be at the ready for when they do make that pit stop jump. Purple first sector here for Luca Ludwig, as you'd expect, but leads the way with only half a second of gap. Nicolo Schiro has been here before. He's challenged the very best. He's got the raw talent, the ability, a European F3 champion back in 2012 and an Italian GT runner-up in 2022. He has got all that under his belt, and he's going to make Luca Ludwig's time, I'm sure, very, very difficult as they now venture through towards the latter sector. It's the ADAC GT Masters 2015 champion who leads now with 48 minutes to go.
Really, really impressed with the start of Navarrete Rodrigo. Currently 18th in the championship and only 6th place in AM, but leading the way right now in the car number 81. He'll be handing over later to Alvaro Ribeiro. Of course, both of those are bronze drivers. They're in the Merkel Motorsport Ferrari 488. They are trying to kick-start their championship. Only scored points in one race so far this season.
Certainly have. Many of the cars now making their way through the bus stop chicane as well. Further back, we just caught wind of Davide Scanicchio trying to close down on Mark Speakerboz as well, as they now head across the line to begin the second lap now. 47 and 18 to go, as we now see diving deep down the inside, number 52 Porsche, belonging to Laurent van der Velde, the AM champion of last season, but it's put him at somewhat of a disadvantage because Evgeny Leonov got a better exit coming out of turn one. And now, with 47 minutes to go, they're going to climb up Eau Rouge and Radion and come together as they take on the formidable Kennel Straits. They burst over the crest now. Further back as well, you have got Duma, Bogdan Duma, in his debut season in the GT Cup Europe Championship, as they now march up the hill and eventually come through towards Les Combes. Nothing doing right now, still retaining position. It is still, at this stage, Van der Velde who's in 10th.
Just to advise those new to the sport, a bit of trim loose there on the Volcano car. 29 minutes is when we'll see the pit window open for driver changes. They'll have 8 minutes to complete that change, hand over, and then watch their teammates try and bring home some points.
Yeah, absolutely right. And again, that's where strategy kind of unfolds as well. Certain drivers may go longer than others. Luca Ludwig, of course, will be swapping out in place of his teammate Ivan Velasco, and very likely Ludwig will do a majority of the stint in the initial. Nicolo Schiro will obviously do a majority of the stint for Rosso Corsa. Alex Ryman will also be doing a fair majority, but obviously he's the solo car running, or solo driver running in that Porsche that's currently sat in 3rd place. Federico Al Rafai will, however, be swapping over to that. As I said before, the driver that went ahead and took the Italian GT. Here's a replay from the start, though.
So perfect start for Ivan Velasco. It's everything he needed. Get into the first corner as they did at Hockenheim, and then they were never ever seen again for the remainder of the race. As you just mentioned, George, what will happen is if you've got your pro driver in the Pro-Am competition, you'll see those coming into driver changeover with literally seconds left in the changeover window remaining. If you've got your amp driver out first, it makes sense to go in first of all early on in the pit stop, then give your pro driver the most time possible out on track.
Yeah, it was truly a blissful start. Nicolo Schiro getting the jump of his life, really, moving up into 2nd place. Federico Al Rafai losing place hand over fist as well. This is, of course, Laurent van der Velde and the volcano of, oh wow, Evgeny Leonov. And how that didn't end in tears is beyond me. I must say, credit to Evgeny Leonov for holding on to that one, because that could have ended up with both cars going off, because it gets really helter-skelter heading down in towards bus stop. It's a heavy braking zone as Luca Ludwig takes the fastest lap of the race so far in the Mertel Ferrari. Nicolo Schiro in the Rosso Corsa Ferrari as well, 2nd place, with the Porsche of Alex Ryman sat in 3rd. Running a good race so far, Alex Ryman. Of course, mightily experienced in this championship, race last season here in the series. And in terms of what he could potentially do, someone who has performed at the highest level here in the past and has taken podiums. and no doubt will be chasing for more. Should it stay like this, he will lay claim to a podium. Davide Scaniccio now coming together, this time with the 21 belonging to Florentin Sescu. That's the Romanian outfit that are here this weekend, as always. Been in the series now for the last couple of seasons. And Tinsescu trying to launch a charge. Of course, alluding back to Alex Ryman, does have experience in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, and had one win here in this championship last season in GT Cup Europe competition. So no surprises to see him very much living large in P3 right now. Still got Federico El Rafai trying to chase after him here, but like I said, not the best of starts for the Saudi F4 champion.
Great start to the race in the AM competition for Mark Speaker in the car 82. He has gained the most places of the entire field, 4 places for the 57-year-old Italian, showing that experience counts for a lot in GT racing.
Yeah, certainly has. Mark Speaker, who is a 24-hour series in Italian GT racer from back in 2019, now racing here in the GT Cup Europe. As we ride on board with Lars Zanen, we'll be handing over for Xander Prisbalak later on. And Lars Zanen, as I said, raced in BMW M2 Cup Benelux, was in GT4 Europe in 2023, Belcar Endurance TA class champion in 2022, as they now hurtle through towards the bus stop chicane this time around. The Q1 track racing team have had loads of success in the past, and have actually racked up teams championships over the last 3 years. And saw it last season, of course, in 2023, but the season prior with Jan Larison, who has been a dominant force, was actually a race winner on 3 back-to-back occasions over the course of 2021 and 2022, taking both race wins back in that 2022 season where he would go on to win the title that time. But truly amazing. Of course, Ivan Velasco could yet become a driver's champion for back-to-back seasons as well, because, of course, partnering Luka Ludwig, he was partnering Jorge Cabezas last season, and they went on to win the championship. He could do it again with Luka Ludwig.
Yeah, Fernando Navarrete still leading the AM right now. You got a feeling, though, in the car 85, Jorge Cabezas is just waiting to get past, because they've dropped a few seconds now off the front 4. Of course, Jorge Cabezas in the Pro-Am car, just 0.6 of a second behind Navarrete. I think once he gets past in his Motor Motorsport Ferrari 488, he might try and then bridge that gap to the front 4, but he's being held back right now, and actually in a sandwich of Philippe Vils in the AM car behind him as well.
Yep, certainly is. As we're now watching a big fight starting to brew, heading through the Jackie X Bend. Further up, we did catch the Romanian outfits as well. The Florentin Sescu, as we now ride on board with the 53 Porsche of Lars Zanen, heading through towards Podium, and down the hill in towards what will be the Lafanier chicane once again. 41 minutes to go here this time around. Still a little bit of time until the driver change window period. We are within those final 12 minutes until it opens up. And then it'll be the 28th minute when it will open up. 28 minutes to go, we'll see it open, and the drivers that are looking to change straight away will hop into the pits and make those changes. Jorge Cabezas moving on up as well, 6th fastest at this point, just in behind Fernando Navarrete at this stage. He's currently nursing a 5/10 of a second difference between he and the sister Ferrari in front, and Cabezas furiously quick.
How good does this Porsche ain't of the Q1 track racing car? Now, Lars Zanen only made his racing debut a couple of years ago, but nursing that Porsche very nicely indeed. Currently in 9th position and 7th in Pro-Am overall. He'll be handing over to Xander Prisbalak in about 10 or so minutes' time. Still 11 minutes, in fact, until that window opens. And you'll see a flurry at the start, and you'll see a flurry at the end, as tactics come into play.
Yeah, car number 11 coming through, Nicholas Salins coming out of turn 1. Now looking to stretch coming out of the first corner in pursuit of Philippe Vils, who's occupying that 7th place. And Lars Zanen watching it all unfold. In fact, Lars Zanen getting a really nice run and on the tail here of Nicholas Salins in that battle for 9th now. So if he can get a decent trip up through towards Les Combes, he could open up the door and effectively spring the trap in a battle over P8 as they now head in towards this next semi-chicane section. No movements being made between the 3 drivers, but still nonetheless they'll persevere. 53 of Lars Zanen now, very much wider line taken from Salins there, heading through Malmedy. I think maybe more defensive inclined than attacking at this stage.
Yeah, even bigger gap falling to the front four now. Again, Navarrete at the head from 5th downwards. Love this on board with Lars Zanen, though. This engine screaming at us. And just looking for a chink in the armour, any sort of gap. Again, he'll take notes over a couple of laps' time and before he tries to make his move, potentially. In front, that's Nicholas Salins. Philip Vils at the top of that trio. Look at this nose to tail. Where's the opportunity? They're going to be so closely matched, the two Porsches. This comes down to driver skill, kissing the apexes. Of course, when you're the man in the middle, Salins has got Vils in front, Zanen behind, so he's looking forwards. He's got his just glimpsing in the rearview mirror as well. Can't make any mistakes. If he goes for a daring overtaking move, leaves the door wide open for Zanen behind him.
Yeah, you've got to be so cautious as well because these Porsche cars are very responsive. You can't put a wrong foot in place at all, especially here at Spa, because you will be punished. As we now see them venture through towards Blanchimont this time around. Heading through the next left-hander now this time, as they now send it down through towards bus stop. Great chance here. Once again, Lars Zanen hovering all over the back here of Nicholas Salins. Really leave it late to the brakes, heading through towards the bus stop chicane. Not quite. Hovers back within tow, just sending these little digs, these little hunches towards the car in front of him here, and just saying, listen, Nicholas, I'm going to be hovering all over your back. One mistake and I'm going to pounce. And it looked like he was in a really good place to do that, heading in towards bus stop. Opted not to, but still nonetheless just giving Nicholas Salins something to think about here.
So whilst we stay on board with Zanen, this is the biggest fight on track right now. Luca Ludwig in the 80, just almost 3.5 seconds clear at the front of the field now. The front four have got a 10-second gap on everybody else, and this is the front of that second race, effectively.
Yeah, they're all clubbing up together now, and of course this is the fight between, I believe, Jorge Cabezas, I think, challenging Fernando Navarrete, who spoke to us about the power of the engine. Jorge Cabezas now moves on up ahead of the 6th place now for Fernando Navarrete. Jorge Cabezas up to 5th, as now we see them make their way through Malmedy this time around, and they're starting to bunch up further back. Felipe Vils as well. Felipe Vils, Nicholas Salins and Lars Zanen not too far behind the two Ferraris that are just in front of them here, as they now look to challenge, heading through towards Rivage, just breaking out of that aero as well. Once again, we just saw Nicholas Salins just pulling that manoeuvre off, just moving to the opening down the inside. Oh, very close. Once again, Lars Zanen looking for a move up the inside at heading through Jackie Expend, just could not quite find it.
That was a massive move by Jorge Cabezas. He's been waiting about 15 minutes to get past Fernando Navarrete. Finally got it done. Navarrete now on his tail, a fellow AM competitor, Philip Vils. So top 5 Pro-Am, second to AM competition. There's it on your screen right there. So 2 races going on, 3 in fact right now. As you can see there, just beyond 3.5 seconds, Ludwig back to Shiro. But let's keep our eye on the race on track right now. Salins is not going anywhere. He is desperate to make a move on these guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, Zanen in behind. You got Salins also looking to try and make moves on Vils for that 7th place, but they're nose to tail now heading through the final sector, so let's wait and see. Coming out of the final corner, Luca Ludwig with a healthy 3.4 second advantage over Nicolo Shiro. Alex Ryman in 3rd with Federico El Rafai now hovering all over the back of Alex Ryman. So we've got a Porsche fight here once again now, as he looks like he's given up waiting here once again, Nicholas Salins, and sending that warning shot now. Of course, conscious of the fact that he is being challenged by Zanen in behind, and Wills under a little bit of jeopardy here as we now ride on board with Lars Zanen once again on the run down through towards turn 1. This might be his chance to go for the move. Does he send it up the inside? He certainly does, heading in towards turn 1. Great opportunity here for Lars Zanen. Back to the floor with the throttle as he looks to push on through. Lars Zanen moves up now ahead of Nicholas Salins for P8 on the exit out of La Source.
That is an example of both skill and pure patience. He knew he'd have an opportunity eventually, and when it came, my goodness, he'd go for it. And Kenny's looking out for a second one now, 2 in a row potentially, around 4 or 5 corners. They're going to come up on the back of, that looks Fernando Navarrete in the 81. He is going to get a lot of cars in his rear view mirrors over the next few corners.
Yeah, and he's enforcing the defensive efforts now from Philippe Vils, who is now under pressure here now from Lars Zanen Larsinen in behind, who is taking all kinds of tiger lines, and the car in front, Philippe Wills, just trying to defend every which way as they head in towards Barrage. Yet another look here, this time from the Porsche in behind, as Larsinen once again challenges for that spot. And what this is doing is bunching the rest of the field up, so they're all coming into this. They're inviting the likes of Bogdan Duma, Evgeny Leonov, Laurent van der Velde, the AM champion of last season, also in this fight. Just look at the string of Porsches lit up heading through Pouhon.
Now, don't forget, the front two in this run are in the AM competition. They're effectively in a different race. They're not going to win the overall championship, but because there's two AMs, they don't want to give anything away because it could affect their own championship. So in the 81, that's Neveretti, and the 7 Porsche is Vils. Behind them, then we come the two Pro-Ams of Zanen and Salens. There's 2 races going on here, and nobody wants to give away absolutely anything, and neither should they.
Well, no, not at all, because there are overall points as well to consider throughout the entirety of the grid, nonetheless. And Fernando Navarrete is being hunted down upon by Philippe Vils, who I must say is driven brilliantly, because on one level he's got to try and attack, on another level he needs to defend the place. Just look at this from Lars Zanen up the inside, past Nicolas Salens for that P8 plot spot, and now pushing through past the Porsche, utilising, I tell you what, that is a great move, and textbook actually. When you make your way through towards the source, find that tiger line, he committed to it, pulled it off, and on the escape, coming through the apex, perfectly across and in between the lines as well, as he ventures up through towards Eau Rouge and Radillon. Fantastic from Lars Zanen, and running wide, the 82 Ferrari. Now that is Mark Speakervos, who just extended a little bit. We've now got more action further up. Now this time around, enter Lars Zanen. He's going to try and challenge here. They're getting close coming out of the source. Now, as that upset the momentum, this is a battle for the AM lead as well, because Philippe Wills is now battling Fernando Navarrete, and we've got wheel-to-wheel action, this time with Laurent van der Velde trying to also lay a blow down. I think that's to Nicolas Salens.
Now, Philippe Vils on that straight there, flashing his lights to Navarrete in front of him, saying, I'm quicker than you, get out of the way. But he's not. Navarrete is in front on skill, and he should be there. Now, Vils, can he go around on the outside? Surely not at the top of the straight. Yes, he does. Almost as if Navarrete lets him through, because also Zanen kicks on. What happened there?
Is that the example of the lack of power that Fernando Navarrete was on about to us in the paddock? I'm not quite sure, but it seemed oh so simple, especially when the Ferrari's supposed to be so good in a straight line. So let's have a look at this. I mean, this is Mark Speakervos, who I think broke late going in towards bus stop. You got the 911 Porsche just alongside. That's Leandro Martins. That's a fabulous move, I must say. Mark Speakervos doing well at the Lafanier. But look at this here now, Ewan.
Now Navarrete, is he coming back? It looked like he was going backwards for a couple of corners. Look, oh, he just flicks his rear end, and he's going to lose 3 more places. Navarrete from leading the AM competition. Oh, that's Philippe Vils.
Yeah, Philippe Vils, that is the driver that was fighting for the AM lead from Fernando Navarrete. He no longer has it now because he's beached in the gravel. And we've got more battling as well here with Nicolas Salens. Yellow flags at turn 8 are raised. No sign of a safety car just yet, but if there is an update, folks, we will let you know. But as it stands, as far as I'm seeing it, of course the 53 of Zanen pushing on through, as is Nicolas Salens. But in terms of the actual AM lead right now, it's gone to Laurent van der Velde, the reigning AM champion in GT Cup.
This is absolute chaos. Don't take your eyes off the screen. For a split second, damage to the front of the Porsche front left-hand side. So van der Velde somehow moves into the lead of the AM. Duma is in second. Navarrete, from leading for so long, holding off Pro-Am drivers, is dropped down to 3rd in class.
Yeah, Evgeny Leonov in the thick of this as well. He's stuck between 2 AM drivers. Van der Velde in 8th, Leonov below him in 9th. This is the moment. This is Philippe Vils. Oh, goodness me. Well, that is overzealous. Lars Zanen, I think, will likely face reprimand for there. Was the gap there, Ewan?
He wasn't alongside in my eyes, not by a long shot.
No.
But we are not the ones that hand out the punishments, George.
No, that's very true. Big moment heading through towards the Rivage section. Stewards are going to be looking at that, I'm sure, but a big moment in this race because the lead has now changed hands. not necessarily to the two that were in the lead fight to begin with. It's gone to Laurent van der Velde this time, who I'm sure is going to look to take this with greater plum. Of course, was runner-up in the overall championship last season, and now he's looking to bring down Nicolas Salins here as well. Looking around the outside here this time around. We're right on board here with the 67. This one belonging to Federico Al Rafai.
Yeah, so we're going back to the front here. Rafai chasing Alex Ryman. This is for 3rd and 4th position overall and in the Pro-Am competition. So Al Rafai, again, they started so well on the front row of the grid, lost 2 spots on the opening corner, and now doing everything they can to get themselves back into this potentially top 3. Again, we're going towards the halfway in the championship. They're chasing the number 80 of Valesco and Ludwig. This will drop them even further back. They need to get past Alex Ryman before the changeover.
Yeah, changeover now in full flow here. 28 minutes and 30 to go in the race. The driver change period on for another 7 minutes and 30 so far. Federico Al Rafai in 4th place, Alex Ryman in 3rd. This is a battle for overall podium here at this point. And remember, Al Rafai lost a sea of places at the very start of the race. Alex Ryman was one of those who benefited off the back that he lost those places earlier on at the very start. Luca Ludwig and Nicolo Schiro are gone. They're stretched clear. Obviously, Ludwig in a space of his own right now. He's on his own up at the front, but this is the fight we all want to see. Federico Al Rafai, no question, going the distance in this initial stint and still hunting down Alex Ryman.
Yeah, we don't want to go anywhere other than this battle right here for 3rd and 4th position. And Ryman doing a wonderful job of holding off the fellow Porsche. But Federico Al Rafai, oh, hang on, he goes into the pits. First changeover.
Yeah, here we go. So, well, this is Alex Ryman coming in for his stop. He is the sole driver, so just looking to get the stop in early. Luca Ludwig also coming in, so he's going to swap in for Ivan Velasco. That's somewhat of a surprise. I would have thought that Ludwig might have gone the distance on this one. Very interesting to see this changeover happen.
That is a shock, because Ivan Velasco is the pro driver in that car, so you generally see them go to the very end of the stint because they're going to be a little bit quicker on every lap time. They had about a 5-second advantage. Surely they could have stretched that out to 6 or 7, but hey, this is team tactics. We're just speculating here.
Yeah, we'd usually expect to see the likes of Luca Ludwig go the distance, but obviously you tend to favour your more pro driver as opposed to the AM. But Velasco now at the helm, so it's his job now to bring this car home, and it's going to be a huge, huge battle for him. Jorge Cabezas still staying out, of course. He'll be swapping across as well, because he has, of course, got Annie Frozio stepping in, the Swiss driver. But Cabezas not in just yet. Now, this is the car that was very much part of the initial fights that we saw earlier on, and of course was very much given a few headaches to some of the other drivers. Lars Zanen swapping in for Zander Prisbalak, who will be making his way out. There is Ivan Velasco, who now sees himself drop down to 7th place, but what's important is that he still retains the net lead here of this race.
Yeah, so for the next 6-7 minutes, you can almost ignore the score, the order on your left-hand side. This will all sort of filter back into play once all the changeovers have happened. And to be honest, it looks like most cars have come in very early. The driver changeover will end on 21 minutes on your screen. And I'm really surprised. There's only 9 cars left out on track of the 21, so just over half have come in. But maybe not the cars that we expected.
Yeah. He's already caught up with Philippe Vils as well, who, remember, was in that incident that found him in the gravel. Of course, no safety car or anything like that, because he managed to venture back out onto track. Team managers for car 53 have to report to race control immediately. That's Zander Prisbalak, and that was the car that was driven by Lars Zanen on that previous stint. So now that was probably due to the contact heading in towards the tight bend at Rivage, where there was, for what we could see, no gap there. But obviously it's down to race control to make those big decisions. But they've called the team managers for that car to race control.
Now, this might cost Ivan Velasco a little bit of time here, because he's in traffic that maybe was unexpected. Oh, a big lockup from the Volcano car.
Yeah, Evgeny Leonov, I think, just squeezing the brakes too much. Is that a retirement? Goodness me.
Is that a brake? Well, not a brake disc gone. It might be a tyre gone. We can't see it on the opposite side, but that was either a massive lockup, but he's going to get going again.
That's interesting. I haven't seen anything quite like that before, but whether a tyre has actually burst right on track, well, I'm not quite sure. Ivan Velasco still on the hunt, and he's got Philip Wils in front. This is obviously an on-track position move here for Velasco. Wils obviously coming unstuck earlier on and finding himself into the gravel trap in that instance that we saw at Rivage, and very cool, calm and collected by the Ferrari. Ivan Velasco taking that wider line, a flash of the lights as well, as we're now back with Nicolo Schiro, who is trying to get himself past the sea of cars that are currently stagnant and in front of him here. Just trying to shift his way through. Listen, get out of the way, he's saying at this point, as he now looks to try and get himself in a position where essentially Lorenzo Innocenti can take control of the car.
Yeah, you saw the straight line speed of the Motorsport Ferrari ATR leader with that advantage into the chicane, going a little bit deeper, getting the move done.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Obviously, Rosso Corsa have had successes in the past in this championship, but yeah, I mean, credit has to be said to Nicolo Schiro getting the start that he did right off the start-finish line as they now make their way through. Of course, he's just trying to trying to get through past the cars that sit below, already managing to displace the likes of, well, he's got Laura van den Hengel further up the order, I believe, on screen. In fact, that's Dieter Schweppes. He's already got past van den Hengel in this instance. So just trying to lap these runners out in front, but remember, he will be boxing very, very soon. So
it looks to me like it's just the top three cars on track now that haven't pitted yet, hence their 79-second advantage. of Cabezas in the 85, Al Rafai yet to pit. This is going to be fascinating how they come out. Can they get any closer than 5 seconds as they dive in the last few cars and catch up on your leader?
Well, they could have gone out for one more lap, I think. Though saying that, no, they might be touch and go. I mean, it's a 1:55 lap. Yeah, it's going to be too tight. In comes Nicolo Schiro. Lorenzo Innocenti will jump into the car. Federico Al Rafai also coming in. No surprises there either. He's done a mighty job trying to recover after losing out at the very start of the race. Remember, starting on the front row, Matteo Lovisi will step in his place as well. Jorge Cabezas will be coming in this lap as well, you'd fathom. So Ivan Velasco should take the on-track lead when he comes out. But it all depends on how good that stint from Nicolo Schiro and how much of a difference it might have made, as now we watch Velasco make his way around Blanchimont now. So this is where it all counts.
Yeah, last few corners, just watching on the timing screen here as well. He'll come down towards the bus stop chicane, and now we watch and look out for the pit lane here. Can the car of Lovisi make his way out in time? And it looks like it will be a successful changeover. There he goes!
That's Innocenti. That's Lorenzo Innocenti. So has this Rosso Corsa stint delivered them a potential race lead? Let's wait and see. I can't see. Where is he? Where's Velasco? There he is. Right, okay, we're running on board with Lovisi. So this is where Federico Al Rafai handed over for Matteo Lovisi. And now heading up the hill out to the pit lane. There he is. There's our race leader. There is Lorenzo Innocenti in the Rosso Corsa Ferrari in the background. There's Ivan Velasco, third place here in this stage. And we also have as well Annie Frozio coming out on her outlap shortly as well. As the timing tower sorts itself out, Velasco, third place. So a massive stint, a massive run from Nicolo Schiro to build that gap for Rosso Corsa.
They had a 5-second advantage, and well, will those tactics come back to haunt them? We'll find out over the next 20 or so minutes. The driver change is officially finished. We're all back out on track, and now we'll just watch the timing screen and see if that time, which currently stands at 6.5 or so seconds, we'll watch that come down potentially.
Yeah. We've got Braun's now looking to the outside, this time with Nicholas van Dieren Donk heading in towards Lake Com. Move complete. And now Braun's takes the AM lead here in this fight as well. Remember, of course, coming in for Laurent van der Velde. And Nathan Braun's obviously looking to take yet more success here alongside Laurent van der Velde. He competed in Fun Cup last year, as we now witness Ivan Velasco, who I believe in this instance actually managed to get past Lovisi as well. So that's second place now for Ivan Velasco. And now it's a tale of two Ferraris, Innocenti v Velasco. Who's going to take this one?
This is going to be brilliant. I can't call it at all. 20 minutes between them, 6 seconds the gap. So starting on pole, of course, was...
This is the move.
Ludwig and Velasco. Here is the move. Yeah, it was on the tight line into the chicane. Gets it done beautifully well. The Ferrari again with that straight line power over the Porsche. Could have done that exactly the right spot. Look at the advantage he's built already. So this is now a hunt of Velasco on Innocente. They were both on the top 2 rows of the grid at the start just over 30 minutes ago, and we're going to watch them all the way to the bitter end.
Of course, Lorenzo Innocenti without his driver coach as well and partner in crime, Andrea Bellici. Of course, Bellici now will obviously be watching this one from the sidelines, but I'm sure he'll be absolutely thrilled to see that Lorenzo has managed to certainly take the on-track lead after a fabulous first stint from Nicolo Schiro here in this first instance here in the GT Cup Europe Championship at Spa, as they now climb up through a Rouge and Radion. Ivan Velasco in hot pursuit, and I think off the back of that last sector has managed to already dice into it quite a bit, actually. He's a lot quicker, I think, than Innocenti is right now, so I'm not sure what that's done, but we'll take a look at the gap now, and already has found 7/10 of a second already, so Velasco going to work.
He's pulled down 1.7 seconds over the last lap alone. Let's also keep your eye on the AM competition. Braun's in the 52 now, Van der Nonk in the 57, and Tintescu in the 21. There's only 2.5 seconds separating them in the AM competition in 8, 9 and 10, so we'll try and flick between the two. And that's Van der Nonk holding off Tintescu in the 2 Porsches. Oh, move on the inside. No. Oh, they nearly touch. Blimey.
Very nearly sold the dummy there, Alex Ryman, and he's going to utilise the fact that he did so and now has benefited off the back of it. Alex Ryman up into 3rd place, has reduced Lovisi down to P4 and has managed to tag back after Federico Alrafai's brilliant first stint despite dropping places at the start. But Matteo Lovisi missing out and is now 4th place ahead of Steens Longin.
So the front 4 now, as they were the front 4 on the grid.
53 has been given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 7. That was Vils. That was the incident at Rivage. So there was a penalty, 10 seconds distributed for that incident as well. But a great move from Alex Ryman, and is now back in podium contention. Sorry to interrupt you, Ewan.
No, there's 3.2 seconds now, Velasco behind Innocenti. You think the writing's not on the wall, but Innocenti very shortly is going to have a lot of green in his rear-view mirror.
He certainly will. Velasco's getting closer, 3.2 now the gap as Innocenti tries to hold on, but the time is coming down far too quick in comparison to where the clock stands right now. We'll take a look at the last lap times as well, the actual gap. Let's see how it looks. I think it's come down considerably. Oh, in fact, it's gone out.
Oh,
Interesting.
2.2. Oh, sorry.
Oh, between Alex Ryman and Ivan Velasco. So Ryman obviously losing tread on Ivan Velasco. I was thinking more about Innocenti and Velasco. If we take a look at that, just look at this. 1.5, if I'm not mistaken, around 1.5 seconds difference between them. Now that is going to be a problem. In fact, I think it's more than that. It looks like 2.5 seconds at this point. Incredible. 2.2 seconds now the gap between the 2 Ferraris. Velasco and Innocenti in a battle for the race lead in race 1 in GT Cup Europe here at Spa. It's going to come down to 2 Ferraris here at the Ardennes.
2 Ferraris on top, 2 Porsches behind them. And this is now just a matter of reeling in his man, tenths here and there. He's taken massive chunks off in the last couple of hours. 2.469 seconds on the last lap. Velasco was quicker than Innocenti. He'll be on his tail in 1 lap's time at that rate.
He certainly will. It won't take too long, and he's got 15 minutes and 50 to play with here. Great opportunity for Velasco. So that explains why Luca Ludwig was so confident and happy to allow Velasco to jump into the car as early as he did. So this allows Velasco just to focus on what's in front of him here. Doesn't have to worry about anything else. It's all about these final 15.5 minutes. It's all about closing on the back of Lorenzo Innocenti. A battle between Rosso Corsa and Myrtel Ferrari as they head down in towards the Lafanier chicane once again. Is that 2.2 going to come down to a grisly halt? I can tell you, out of the first sector, there was only 2 thousandths between them in that first sector. Let's see what sector 2 is very shortly, but one thing's for sure, Velasco is chopping at that wood. Here comes the actual gap. Now let's take a little look at it. Velasco coming out now through towards the Colby Porfret, and yet another 7/10 found already, and we're not even at the end of the lap yet.
Incredible. Just a quick glance at the AM competition. Here's Nathan Braun's 28-year-old in his home country of Belgium, leading the way by 4.7 seconds now.
Race win
not done whatsoever.
Table.
Yeah, not done yet, but a potential classification race win on the table. But let's focus. 1.3 seconds now. Velasco tucked a tight line into the final chicane, and now he will be all over the back of Innocente. And this is going to be his view now for the next 40. Oh, he's going to go dive into the first chicane, into La Source. Oh, what a move! On the inside of La Source, up towards Eau Rouge. I didn't think it would happen that quickly. Got it done in just 3 laps. And look at that Ferrari move away.
I tell you what, he wasted no time at all. The gap came cascading down through the entirety of that final sector. It was 3 tenths by the time they exited out of the bus stop. There was no tenths come the run leading up through towards La Source. But Innocente will have a chance. He might get an opportunity to take the race lead back. He's hovering all over the back of the Murtel Ferrari, and the Rosso Corsa looking for the Tiger line, venturing through towards Lake Com. Can't quite find it. Velasco later on the brakes, braver in that battle, and now still retains the lead here at Spa.
Just brilliant, looking for their second consecutive win in the championship. Only 0.2 seconds separated. And look at the Porsche behind as well.
Alex Ryman.
As these two battle, they're going to lose a little bit of time on that Porsche. Let's make it a 3-way battle just for fun.
And looking at Ryman's laps, they've been faster than Ivan Velasco. So I tell you what, the Porsche might yet... Well, this could be an opportunity here for Alex Ryman to potentially lay claim to yet another race victory, and a flash on the back of the Rosso Corsa. Oh, the arrogance, you love it.
This is brilliant. 1.5 seconds separating your top 3. Flash of the lights. Get out of the way. I can catch Velasco, you can't. Innocente says, no, this is my battle still. The 2 Ferraris and the Porsche. We got 12.5 minutes of this, George.
Fantastic battling, heading through the Le Fanier chicane now. It's 2 Ferraris up at the front, but the Porsche is looking to stick its oar in between the pair. The Rosso Corsa occupying P2, but for how much longer? Because Alex Ryman is on the hunt. He's chasing. He's trying to obtain yet a grander position here. Could yet be a race win if he carries on, because there's still 12 minutes and 30 to go, and now is going to look to try and follow in pursuit of this Ferrari challenge as it heads down in towards the latter sector. They're going to run wheel to wheel, coming through towards the Blanchimont section now, the high-speed section. Ryman dips out. Innocente just barely doing enough to keep the Porsche behind.
Just utter pure bravery. Looking left, looking right. Every single corner now is an opportunity. They're so finely matched. Of course, this is going to let Velasco get away. They're going for their second consecutive win, 4th podium out of 5 races. Here comes Ryman. He'll do it on the inside of the final chicane, up the start-finish straight towards La Source. And now the big question: can he even catch Velasco?
Well, he's got the clear air. That will help him, obviously, but obviously the Ferrari straight line speed is still there. Innocente might be able to tag him back. He tried tagging Velasco back only the lap or so previous. Let's wait and see what happens as they venture through towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. What this has done for Velasco is stretch that lead advantage out to 2.3 seconds. Innocente now reduced to P3, but this is the moment as it happens. Just a better run coming out of the bus stop chicane. The momentum, the leverage, it was in Alex Ryman's hands, and he utilised it, opened up the door and moved into second. But this is a moment as well coming through Canvas and Stavelo, wheel to wheel again. Now, if I'm not mistaken, 78 Porsche.
Fabio Babini.
That is Fabio Babini, who is an extraordinary talent in his own right behind the wheel of a Porsche. Subbing in for Davide Scanaccio. He didn't have a lot of room to play with. The 85 squeezed him all the way, but I'll tell you what, executed his masterful skills as a driver of a Porsche. And I must say, wheel to wheel still on the run down to Blanchimont.
Everywhere, all over the track. Of course, we can only focus on one thing at one time, but there's more than one race happening. We can absolutely assure you. We'll hopefully pick up on the AMP competition shortly as well. Gaps forming between Braun, Sinescu and Vanguard. Look at these times. Ryman is closing the gap on Velasco in the times. He was 1/10 faster on the last lap alone.
And he's 5 tenths faster in the first sector as well.
You can see it.
Ryman is so quick right now. 10 minutes and 20 to go. And Alex Ryman could yet cause quite the upset here. Ferrari look to have this all in control. Of course, Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig coming into the weekend as our current championship leaders. But I tell you what, this upstart, this Porsche, Alex Ryman, victor last season in one race, coming into this campaign looking for greater grandeur. And what an opportunity this is for the young man to potentially tip something in his favour. He's still yet to score a podium this season. His last outing, only managing to perform to achieve 6 points in race 2 at Portimao. Didn't score any points in the opening race at Portimao that weekend, but has a great chance of opening things up here at Spa in a better way. Let's see what the timing looks like as he heads his way up towards the line. There's Velasco, closely followed then by Alex Ryman. Let's take a look at the deficits now.
That's grown, really grown.
Yeah, it has grown. A massive mistake, surely, by Alex Ryman.
1.4 seconds on the last lap, lost. All that gain, gone in 1 lap.
That's extraordinary. I mean, he was, like, if you look at the 3 laps prior to Alex Ryman losing that, he was green right through. Just all of a sudden, a real issue, obviously, on that final run, as we're now seeing some wheel-to-wheel action, this time around the 57 Porsche of Nicolas van Dierendonck, being met with Evgeny Leonov in behind as well. Now, this is a separate battle, but Babini is part of this fight, because Babini wants to try and challenge Van Dierendonck, but he's got the Volcano Porsche stuck right in between Leonov, essentially a lap car here.
Yeah, and with the 3 AMs in front of them, it's a big gap to bridge. Oh, hang on a second, Innocenti back into second. What's happened to Ryman? We know he lost 1.5 seconds on the previous lap. Has he got troubles? Because he's now let Innocenti was almost going backwards in the second Ferrari. Look at this, Innocenti's got through. Let's hope we've got that on a replay somewhere. How on earth did he achieve that?
Well, Innocenti running wide at Rivage as well. Not quite sure what happened. Let's take a look at the replay. Just a straight line speed. The Ferrari still does have it. And obviously credit to Lorenzo Innocenti for still keeping himself in this fight, managing to brush past Alex Ryman on the run up through towards Les Combes. Fantastic move by the Ferrari, and now into second.
Yeah, his teammate's going to be watching ever so closely. That's Shiro in the garage watching the 17. 5 seconds to the gap now to Velasco. So what an advantage this has been for Ivan Velasco in the lead here. He was getting closed on by Ryman to within 1.5 seconds. He lost time on the previous lap, and now Innocenti in front. Which is the faster car out of these two?
That's a job to know. I mean, I think this is a credit, to the championship in issuing and bringing in other manufacturers into the series. I mean, the fact that they can run wheel-to-wheel, they're not supposed to, but they are. And this is wonderful to witness, as we now witness Alex Ryman on the back of Innocenti again. So we could yet see another fight for this second place, as they're now heading towards the Bonchimont section this time around, getting a burst, heading down through towards the bus stop, but it is Innocenti who has the better run heading in towards bus stop now. Goes ultra defensive though, however, invites almost Alex Ryman into this fight. Very tight to the inside on the inset towards bus stop on the outset, still maintaining the place. Here is the moment between Babini, and that's Leonov in the Volcano car. Remember, lapped car in this instance. And
just to point out, Matteo Lovisi has once again entered the group chat, just 1 second off the race for second and third now. This is once again a 3-way battle. The top 4 cars we had at the start of this race. Oh, here comes Ryman again on the inside down the start finish, where the Ferrari should have the advantage, but the Porsche clearly got a better exit, and up they throw through a roof on the inside. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Both off!
That is absolutely extraordinary. Fantastic tag back by Lorenzo Innocenti as they rose up through a Rouge and Radion. That was cheeky in the Rosso Corsa Ferrari, managing to swap in behind. How he pulled it off is truly beyond me, but taking advantage of the gap up the inside, coming up through towards the top of the crest of a Rouge and Radion. And then up Kemal, he now proceeds into second, and now enter Lovisi into the fight with Alex Ryman.
Lovisi is watching this thinking, yeah boys, you fight, you crack on, I'll bridge, I'll bridge, I'll bridge. And even Lovisi has the audacity to flash his lights now, and Ryman in front of him. What a last 5 minutes we've got in store.
It's a pleasure to watch here at Spa. We're at a circuit that produces nothing but majestic, brilliant racing, and it's on show here with 5 minutes and 30 or so to go. Velasco is in dreamland, 6.9 seconds clear of Innocenti, but this battle for second is still very much brewing onwards, with Ryman still waiting for yet another chance. Let's take a look at this again. This is extraordinary. Ryman left the door open, Innocenti just said thank you very much and took it straight back. I mean, I can't really blame Innocenti for doing it. It was there.
Oh, that is Eau Rouge overtaking at its absolute finest.
Just want to let you know as well, Innocenti wasn't necessarily schooled from a young age at racing. Andrea Bellicci taught him how to race. And look at this. They've worked together, they've clubbed together. Lorenzo Fernandinho Innocenti has come into this championship, debuted last season at Paul Ricard. He took victory at Paul Ricard as well in that same instance, but that was just pure class. Brilliant from Innocenti.
There were moments in this race when Innocenti lost those positions and thought, oh, okay, Ryman or Lavusi are going to kick on now. Not in his mind, Innocenti, what a comeback. And if he picks off second, if he finishes second place, wow, his team can be proud.
Yeah, he certainly can be. Matteo Lavisi now looking to enter his cards into the table here this time around. Unreal. We got a huge podium battle now underway. Alex Ryman under pressure from one Porsche in behind. He's got a Ferrari in front as they head down in towards the source once again. 4 minutes and 15 to go. Velasco out in front has careered onwards yet more. 7.5 seconds between them. Alex Ryman once again getting a lovely exit, coming out of La Source and bursting up through towards Eau Rouge. And Radion Innocenti still holding on to that second place in the Ferrari, but now rising up the hill this time around. Lavisi, I think, might have got a better run though, however, and is going to try and tangle up with Alex Ryman's Porsche as well as they now burst up the hill. There is Velasco taking Lecom straight away. Into the slipstream comes Lavisi, who's going to look to, I think, try and extract P3 away from Alex Ryman. Wheel to wheel coming through Lecom this time around. Can't quite get the leverage to move on through, but Malmedy might present an opportunity on the run down towards Rivage. Not quite, but Lavisi has entered the fight.
And don't forget, this isn't just about places on the grid, it's about points in the championship. The points between second and fourth is 12, 10 and 8. Currently Lavisi and RFI second in the championship, 4 points already behind Velasco and the car number 80. They need to pick up places here.
This is the GT Cup Italian GTM champion of 2023, Matteo Lavisi, entering into this dogfight between yet another Porsche. Of course, in his own right, Alex Ryman, a Porsche Carrera Cup Germany driver in 2023 and a GT Cup Europe driver from last season. This is a moment between two Ferraris. We've got Chen in the 82 in the coloured Ferrari there as well, and we got the 83 for the back of Lauren van der Hengel as well, who has managed to displace the other one. So a great move there from Laura van der Hengel into the source.
So let's get back out to the top. Oh, hang on, Lavisi's... Oh, no, fourth, sorry. And there's another car behind them. That is going to be Steen's Longen. Is that traffic? That's surely not being caught, is it?
Steen's Longen, I think, further back, just in behind. I think we're just watching now as they peel their way through towards Blanchimont. Steen's Longen has been working covertly to try and close this gap, and I think somehow has managed to bring himself to within 4.5 tenths of a second. So credit to Longen, who now is also in this fight. So we've now got a 3-car battle essentially for P3 and a 4-car battle for P2. This is fabulous.
Steen's Longen and his teammate Nicholas Salins led the first half of this race. They did have a podium third-place finish in the second race at Hockenheim. They're yet to complete a full weekend, 2 race finishes. Well, he has put on a stealth mission towards the final lap of this race now. The battle for second position. Innocenti, we're going to drop behind Ryman.
He's not going to do it again, surely not. Heading up through towards Lecom. He's not going to check it up the inside, heading up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. He might, you know, he's going to try it, and he might succeed. Wheel to wheel on the run out of Eau Rouge and Radion. Lorenzo Innocenti, 2 moves made right in the centre of Eau Rouge and Radion, and he's pulled it off. And now we've got 2 other cars entering the scrap as well. An almighty tussle on the final lap as they head up through towards Lecom this time. Alex Ryman joined with the 11 of Steen's Longen, who switches back, coming out of Lecom through towards Malmedy. Longing for Steen's Longen to take a P3. He's done it, and now in pursuit of P2, but now he needs to take down Innocenti and his Ferrari.
Steen's Longen in the car 11, 4th place in the championship. We haven't mentioned his name for the last 45 minutes. Now he's going to move into second. He's going to go on the outside of Innocenti and take it. What a final 2 laps from Steen's Longen. If he can hold on, it's a 4-car race for second place, and we don't know who's going to take it.
This is truly bizarre. Innocenti had every chance to grasp hold of it, but where did Steen's Longen came from? He coverted his way through up into P4 on the tail of these 3 drivers, and then somehow, some way, forced an entry coming out of Lecom, riding up the hill out of Kemmel, and managed through Malmedy to unseat them all, heading into Rivage through towards the what we can only describe as no-name corner. A massive, massive final lap for Steve Longin, and is now on the cusp of taking home a P2 here at the closing stages of this race. Ivan Velasco, though, right at the front of the order, who has been absolutely sensational through the course of this race in his own right. Lorenzo Innocenti in a last-gasp battle for P3 on track. It's being closed down by Alex Ryman as they now venture in towards Blanchimont this time. The Ferrari barely hanging on, but here comes one Ferrari that will not be perturbed. Ivan Velasco, after Luca Ludwig's staunch first stint, they're going to take victory here at Spa, but in towards the final bends this time. Steens Longin with one of the drives of the season, one of the drives of the championship. He takes second. Lorenzo Innocenti finishes on the podium in P3.
I'm shaking my head, George. I cannot believe what I've just seen from the car number 11, the Q1 track racing Porsche 992. Steens Longin on a covert mission in the second half of this race. Absolutely unbelievable.
Nathan Brauns comes across the line and takes victory as well. That's a fabulous, fabulous effort on their part too. What a race here at Spa-Francorchamps. This weekend is certainly not disappointed by any means, but what an effort. Lorenzo Innocenti comes into Parc Ferme. I mean, we had probably the moves of the championship. This man did it twice at Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Second one was close, granted, but he did.
I think the highlights is going to be like 7 minutes.
That was sensational.
I'm just so happy for Longin and Salins, the two Belgians in their home country at their national track.
Amazing.
To perform like that. They're in career mode right there.
Absolutely sensational. The Rosso Corsa Ferrari now parks up in P3. I think he can be pleased with that. I mean, he had it all to do.
I don't think he can quite believe it either.
He's exhausted right now, does Lorenzo Innocenti, and for good reason. He's had a big race. I mean, it was a pleasure to watch from our standpoint. I mean, the efforts and how he pulled off those, you know, that wonderful up and under coming up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon.
Twice.
Yeah, I mean, he lost ground coming out of La Source twice, and he's going to go and say, he's going to go over to Alex Ryman and shake hands, because that was some stunning racing between two great drivers.
Innocenti there, he might be disappointed to lose second place, but that Porsche was on steroids.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, Alex Ryman, what a competitor. Really, he should be on the podium as well. If we only had podiums for 4 places, I think that would be wonderful. But let's take you through the results, folks. What a race. Luca Ludwig and Ivan Velasco, victors for a second time this season, with Steens Longin and Nicolas Salins, one of the drives, I think, of the championship. Innocenti and Shiro, again, another move of the championship provided by Innocenti. Alex Ryman also in the mix. Great drive in fourth. Al Rafai and Levisi in fifth. Van der Velde and Brauns take the win, with Xander Prisbalak and Zanen in seventh. Scanicchio and Babini in eighth. Florentin Sescu finishing in ninth. Van Dieren Donk and Duma finishing in 10th place. 11th for Martins and Schweppes. Johannes Selger in 12th. Gladko Solieri finishing in 13th. Philippe Wills in 14th. Jorge Cabezas and Annie Frozio in 15th. Laura van den Hengel and Vasquez in 16th. We've got Evgeny Leonov in 17th. Chen and Spikovos in 18th. Navarrete Libera in 19th, with Melgar and Bazzoni finishing in 20th place. And this is what it's done to the championship standings, folks. I must say, it's thrown another complexion in, but one thing's for sure, Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig now have increased their points gap to 13 ahead of Federico Al Rafai and Matteo Levisi. Steens Longin moves up to third along with Nicolas Salins after that spirited drive to end the race. What a way to do it as well. But wow, that was one for the fans. I think that was one for us as commentators. That was one for everybody here at Spa. This is what the track can produce.
Let's do it all again tomorrow, eh? I mean, if you had asked me with 2 laps to go, driver of the day, you're thinking Innocenti, Ryman's, that kind of area. Yeah. And then all of a sudden just bursts onto the scene, Steens Longin.
He longed for that P2.
Can you imagine? I don't know if he was lapping quicker. He was. So on that last lap, Steens Longin was lapping over a second quicker than Ivan Velasco.
Outrageous pace. And can you imagine, had he got closer sooner? I mean, we could have witnessed potentially one of the wins of the championship. Regardless of anything, I think what we can agree on is that Steens Longin's final stint was heroic. Velasco out of the car. He's going to be absolutely thrilled. They've strengthened their championship advantage. Murtal Motorsport have been such a great such a great team to bring into the GT Cup fold. And the fact we've now got Rosso Corsa joining as well, bringing more Ferraris, more Porsches coming in. Fabulous race. And we're going to try and compile that into highlights. Let's see how that goes. As we know, we'll witness the race start. Great start for Luca Ludwig at the get-go, taking the lead of the race from starting on pole position. It was a bad start for Federico Al Rafai, who lost places to the Rosso Corsa team as well. Across the grid, there were fights. We witnessed many of them. Of course, Sander Prisblack and Lars Zanen on that initial stretch, managing to get the move done, heading in towards turn 1. We saw it coming together. This was later penalised, of course, between the two Porsches that came together earlier on. We did mention, of course, that obviously it was a tough moment for those concerned. The driver change window came in. Ivan Velasco stepped into the car and did brilliantly to try and close down the cars belonging to Matteo Lavisi, who came out in place of Federico Al Rafai. Ivan Velasco taking the lead on track. Eventually he was met with Lorenzo Innocenti in their battle for first place between the two Ferrari cars, but it would be Ivan Velasco who would get that move done and lead the race from then on. Alex Ryman and Lorenzo Innocenti brought to us some of the great battles of this very race, and they came wheel to wheel on many an occasion. Great to see this too. This was the run up through towards Lake Com. Innocenti gets in the upper hand. Ryman did not give up, however, he gave it absolutely everything right to the bitter end, finishing in 4th place eventually. But we then entered Steens Longin into the mix. Where did this man come from? An amazing move coming through No Name. That in itself is fantastic, but a truly gargantuan fight. Great drive from Murtal Motorsports, Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig. They took victory here at Spa. The fans very much enjoyed that one, as did we. And no reason why there is smiles on the faces of all of them. Let's take you through the top 3. Lorenzo Fernandino Innocenti came home in 3rd with Nicolo Schiro. For Rosso Corsa, a truly spirited, brilliant drive. 2nd place for Steens Longin. What a performance for me, driver of the day. After all of that, Nicholas Salins, I'm sure, would agree with a bit of a golf clap after that one. And our winners from this race 1 is Ivan Velasco and, of course, Luca Ludwig after that mammoth stint at the very start. Velasco pulling out all the stops as well, had to make his places, and he went on to take victory. And this is the view in Parc Fermé, waiting for the drivers to make their way out onto the podium. What a day indeed, and one that I'm sure we'll enjoy from many years to come indeed. Obviously, we've got more racing to come tomorrow, but it just goes to show the activity in the paddock, the very communal atmosphere that we have here as well, Ewan.
Yeah, families everywhere. If you're lucky enough to walk around the paddock, it is everybody smiles on faces. Yes, it's competitive, but it is gentlemanly at the same time. Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig, that is their 5th race of the season, of course, 4 podiums and their 2nd consecutive win. They are looking a little bit frightening for the rest of the teams.
Yeah. Yeah, just listening into some of the comments from the drivers. Nicholas van Dierendonk having a conversation. Ivan Velasco delighted, and ever courteous as well. Very humble is Lorenzo Fernandino Innocenti, lovely human being. And there is Mario Grumt, team boss, team manager at Murtal Motorsport. He runs everything around that team. Conversations as well. As I said, Lorenzo Innocenti, fantastic human being, discussing with Nicolo Schiro as well. I wish I could understand what they were saying. Unfortunately, I can't. My Italian isn't that great.
I went as fast as I could.
It was a wonderful, wonderful battle. I mean, Nicolo Schiro is a great talent. They're now being called up onto the podium as we speak. So there we have it, folks. The 3 top steps. The 3rd step is going to be filled with a Ferrari, a Rosso Corsa Ferrari. Lorenzo Fernandino Innocenti, and with him as well is Nicolo Schiro. 2nd place, where did it come from? Steens Longin will stand tall on that one. How we did that is beyond me. I truly have no answer for you. On top step, a massive, massive performance for both Luca Ludwig and Ivan Velasco to bring it home. Mario Grumt absolutely thrilled with that one. He's got a spring in his step for good reason. Big thumbs up from Ivan Velasco. Here's the national anthem. Well, both drivers from the number 11 Porsche now united, both Steens Longin and Nicolas Salins. This is a huge moment for them because this is their home race weekend, and to have a Belgian pairing on a Belgian track, Belgian podium, is absolutely fantastic. Credit to them. Trophy's been accepted by the Rosso Corsa pairing of Lorenzo Fernandino Innocenti as well as Nicolo Schiro. Second place being accepted as well by both the number 7, or should I say by both the number 11 Porsche drivers, Steens Longin and Nicolas Salins. What a weekend. But the championship has definitely taken a stranglehold with these two. Obviously, Luca Ludwig and Ivan Velasco, they look truly the team to beat here now.
That car, when it's in front, it looks like it can't be caught. It's a matter of when in qualifying, of course, we've got qualifying again tomorrow for race number 2 tomorrow afternoon. Somebody's got to be quicker than them in qualifying to keep them back a little bit, to bring them back into the pack. But once they're away, my goodness, they are away.
Yeah, what a thrill ride indeed. Mario Grund accepting the team's trophy and very quickly legging it. Of course, they've got to wear these race suits tomorrow. Oh, dearie me. There's going to be a smell. Certainly the taste of champagne. But phenomenal stuff indeed. What a wonderful, wonderful display. They have, of course, got to make sure that they keep the suits clean heading into tomorrow. We do, of course, have the AM podium to bring you as well, folks. Nathan Braun's, in fact, taking the AM victory along with Laurent van der Velde. What a performance from both those drivers. Of course, Laurent van der Velde coming back in after winning the title last season. Wonderful effort on his part. We also have the Romanian contingent, Florentin Sescu, second as well.
Yeah, so the race winners in the AM competition were second coming into this in the AM Championship. They'll pick up maximum points of 10. Sveps and Martins only finishing in 4th place in the race, so won't see them on the podium. They'll pick up 4 points. The gap is closed by 6. I make that now just a 4-point lead for Sveps and Martins at the top of the AM Championship.
Yeah, it's closed up. It's going to get very tight, I think, towards the very end. But Nicholas van der Donk, alongside, of course, his teammate Bogdan Duma, they will hold P3 on the podium. Second place, as I said, Florentin Sescu, and fantastic for the Romanian contingent. And then at the very top of the order, fantastic visit again for Laurent van der Velde, who won the championship last season alongside Nathan Braun's. And here's the national anthem. The AM battle very much in full swing, and it could go anywhere at this point, Ewan.
Absolutely good. Again, by the end of the play tomorrow, we'll be halfway through the championship. But just finding again that overall, there's only a few points between. There's only, how many cars are there in AM? There's around about 15 or so. So it is a big old battle.
Yeah, trophies being accepted as well by all drivers concerned. But you're absolutely right. Just talk us through the battle before we finish.
In the championship, so Dieter Sveps and Leandro Martins coming into this one were 24 points. They'll be now on 28. But Laurent van der Velde and Nathan Braun's will bridge that gap to just 2 points between them. And these two teams have had all 5 race wins between them so far in the championship. Yeah, it's dominant form for these two.
Very dominant. And Laurent van der Velde will be hoping that he can go back-to-back in terms of teams championships, lifting the trophies aloft. Fantastic performances, and they'll spray the champagne here in the AM category, folks. And it's not all over just yet, because we do have action tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for more qualifying and also more racing action. But from us here at Spa in the GT Cup Open, we obviously will be bringing you an interview first and foremost before we do finish, so do stand by. But a truly fantastic display. Here is the top 3 again. This is Lorenzo Fernandino Innocenti, along with Nicolo Schiro finishing in 3rd place. A fantastic performance. Steens Longin with one of the great performances, ending out the race in great style, finishing in 2nd place. and then your winners as well. An incredible performance from Ivan Velasco, following on from Luka Ludwig's stint, and they are going to be standing by with Alfredo.
Luka Ludwig, Ivan Velasco, again on the podium. How was it, Luka?
Yeah, fantastic. We did it again. Fantastic race for us. Start to finish with a 10-second handicap. It was much more tension in the race because we had to overtake the other cars again. But the performance was there for us today, and so we are very happy now leading in the championship. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow with I think 20 seconds handicap. There will be no podium normally, but we will see. We'll fight and give our best. Thank you to Mertel.
And Ivan did the second stint. He had to fight a little bit to keep everybody behind. ¿Te ha tocado luchar, Iván?
Sí, como ha dicho mi compañero, teníamos que tirar muy fuerte de principio a final por los 10 segundos de handicap en la parada. Pero bueno, mi compañero ha hecho un trabajo perfecto y a mí me tocaba luego remontar, pero bueno, la verdad que creo que teníamos un coche muy bien puesto a punto gracias a nuestro equipo Mertel y la verdad que hemos tenido buen ritmo y hemos podido conseguirlo.
Good car, good pace, good defense, so everything went all right. See you tomorrow, guys. Hasta mañana.
Well, we enjoyed that so much. We're going to do it all again tomorrow. See you then, folks. Goodbye.